Let's create this gorgeous set of scarf and a beanie hat with a pom-pom. In this first tutorial we will do the scarf and then we'll move to the hat. For our tutorial today we will need some yarn. These are the James Brett stone wash yarn, which is 100 grams. And it is premium acrylic, 290 meters. We are using size 5 crochet hook, scissors and a needle with a big eye, which we are going to finish our work with. So one of the 100 grams we're going to use for the hat and one for a very nice scarf. I will show you what the pattern will be with one of the yarn. I'll just do 20 stitches and then you can go and start doing we'll start with the scarf. As you know me, I always start from the inside because it's much nicer, it doesn't turn around. So here it is. So what we'll do, we don't need this, we will chain 20 . And when you chain, try and make them not very loose but not very tight either. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 12. So we have 20 chains, and the pattern B will be, we're going to use half a double stitch, but we're going to use at the back of these chains, can you see these bumps? So we'll yarn over, we'll skip the first one and we'll go into the second from the hook. Yeah, go through, yarn over, pull through, and now we are going to pull through 3. Then for the next one, before we yarn over, we are going to go, can you see here the last loop? We're going through the last loop, yarn over, and then go to the next back of the chain, this little bump, and then we'll go through this 4, and we'll continue and do the same. Go into the last loop, yarn over, and then into the next little bump. So going again, yarn over, going to the next little bump, and then go through all of them. So we are going to do all of this all the way. And for this big men's scarf, which we're going to do, I chain 200. And then for this 200 we will go the same, we'll do the same thing. Make sure that the tension is nice, not too loose, not too tight. If it's too tight, you find it difficult to push the hook through. If it's too loose, it won't be nice. So we just keep going with the back bumps. So imagine if you have 200, this is only 20 stitches. 200 stitches will be a long one. Which I time myself. Took me roughly 20 minutes to do a row. It's a very easy scarf and very easy hat to make. It's very enjoyable, especially when you create it for yourself or for a present. I will show you another 2 rows of this, so you know exactly what to do. Now you can see this is the last stitch. So instead of going into the last, actually we will go to the last bump, but I'll show you differently for the next row. So as we miss one, we should have 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got 19. When we do the big scarf, as we have 200 chains, it is quite a fiddly thing to count, but please feel free to count each row. The best thing is to make sure you don't miss a stitch on the way, and you always use the last one. I'll show you in a moment. Because if you miss a stitch, it will not go in a straight line. So what we do here at the end of the row, we chain 2 and we turn our work. So can you see here, this is 1 and 2 the chain, so don't go in here, leave these chains alone, just yarn over. And now we are going to work only in the back loop. Can you see these V shapes which we've just created? So this is the front loop of the V, and this is the back loop. So we are going to work only in the back loop. So this is our 1 and 2 chain, and then we turn over. So now we yarn over and we go, this is our first V. You leave this alone, let me just show you. This is our first V. So as long as you make sure you start with the first stitch and don't miss it or don't go there. If you go there, you will be adding 1 stitch and the edge will not be even. If you go in the first stitch and continue, you should be doing right. So yarn over and we go only in the back loop, and we do the same what we've just done. Go through the last loop, yarn over, and then go to the next back loop. We are approaching our last stitch now. So instead of going to the last stitch, can you see this is the last stitch? Here is our V shape. This is our last stitch. Instead of going the back loop only, we will go through both. So this is the only difference when we do the back and the last stitch. So can you see how nice and straight this goes? So now we'll chain 2 and we'll turn. So now we'll continue exactly what we've done. These are the 2 chains we've done, so we leave them alone and we go in the back loop of the first stitch. If you follow that, you don't have to count. If you don't think you can, you may have to count. I just thought of something. Let me come back. I just had an idea. I don't use this little safety pin which is for the crochet, but it just came to me. For example, let me undo that. So this is your last stitch, and then if you want it, you can do this. As I say, I don't use them. And here, when we get to this, I will give you the other, I'll put another one. So if you want it, you can just put it like that when you finish, and this is your last stitch. And then we chain 2 and turn. So now you know where you're going. So you always know that this is your first one. So you can do that. And then continue with the row, but also make sure you go in each stitch, don't miss one. So this is your first sorry. So this was your first one, and if you want, before you continue, you can put your little marker in this V. Don't find them very easy, I don't use them, but if you're a beginner, probably this will be the answer. Or if you have a hairpin, you can use as well. So I'll put it here to know that this is the first one, and when you turn around, it will be your last stitch. Okay, now let me give you another tip. If you pull the edge, you can still see that there is one V, second V. So this is how you can also see which one is the last. And now for the last one, as we say, we're going to go through both of the loops, and this is our last stitch. Let me put this one. I can put it here to know where we are. Then chain 2 and then turn over. So we know we're here, then we can remove it. So this is our first stitch, and then we can put it again. So we'll leave it. So we have the first and the last. As long as you work in each stitch in between, you will be fine. So this is our 4th row, and then I will leave you to get on with the 200 chains scarf. So it should be 199 when we miss the first one. And I do it for 20 rows, and it for my tension, the way I work, and this yarn, it is one of these 100 grams of yarn is just enough for one scarf, and I take tiny bit from the second 100 grams just to finish it off, but I'll show you when we get to there. So this is my last stitch. I pull this one, or you can keep it so you know exactly where to go. I'll take it away. So this is what the pattern looks like. It's really lovely. And I will leave you now to go and chain 200 chains and then start working as I just showed you. If you need to go back and see how I do it, just go back and rewatch it. But this will be a longer scarf. I'll see you later. So this is what the scarf should look like. I've done 10 rows up and down, so altogether 20. So if we count, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but in between we have another row. So this is 200 stitches, and now I will show you how to do the fringe. So we'll do it at the end of the scarf. I'll show you one of the side, and then we'll cut it nicely, and then I will show you how to blot the scarf. So now it looks short, but then we will blot it with little pins to stretch it a little bit, but I'll show you this in the next stage. Look how gorgeous this scarf looks. So I am going to use some of the yarn from the second 100 grams, which I'm going to use to make a matching hat, and I will show you how to do the fringes now. So to make the fringe, I'm going to use one of this book, which worked okay for me. I believe this is a 5, but it depends how big the fringes you want to be. Sorry, I'm just getting the yarn from inside. Okay, so what I may do is I don't want it, I want the yarn actually to be nice and straight. I may not use the inner bit. I may take some from outside. The reason I don't like it is because the bow goes all around, and to be honest, it gets on my nerves. But when you pull it from inside, it's much nicer. So what I've done, I'm taking it like that and I'm putting it in the middle and do 19 circles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and actually on the 20th I'll cut it. I'm using my fabric scissors as they're nice and sharp. I don't use it for anything else. So we cut in the middle, and then we'll cut in the middle again. Let me show you how I do it. So I'm starting with this side. It doesn't matter which one is front or back, but this is the front. So what I'll do, I'll take 3 of these strings. I think you can see what I'm doing. So we are taking 3 of these strings, and I put them roughly to be nicely edged, and I fold it like that. So I'm using the crochet hook, and you will see naturally where it can go. This is where I'll go, and I put this and pull through. And now I'm going to use this edge as well, rather weaving it in. I'm putting it like that, and then all of this go through here, and then you pull it just to create a nice fringe. So you take another 3, and then we go into the V-shape one. So what we are doing is in each row we will put a little fringe. And it depends how wide you're making your scarf. You do it in each of these rows. Mine was 20 rows, so we'll have 20. I actually made a mistake, so we need a little bit more of these strings. Instead of 19, and I went for the loop of the 20, we need 29, so we need 9 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Look at it now. Now we'll finish it up. Okay, so we've done the first edge of the fringe, so we have 20 of them, and I'll show you how I cut them. So you don't have to have any specific length. What I do, I nicely spread them. If you want to be more precise, you can have a centimeter or a ruler. Most of my things are done by eyeballing. Let me just show you how I do it. Okay, so we roughly see where is the shortest one. There is one so short, I don't know why it's so short, but let's go with it. So it's roughly like that. But you would need a nice and sharp scissors for this. Dispose of this. Now you can go ahead and do the other edge the same way. So this is how it is. Then you do the curve, so we do the same size, the same side. So we'll do this one and then we'll cut it, and tomorrow I will show you how to blot it. As I'm doing it on my bed, I don't have another surface to blot it, so I'll show you how I do it. So I will show you now how to blot this beautiful scarf. So this is the size, but we're going to stretch it a little bit for the day. And I'll show you how I do it. Okay, so I'm using pins. It is quite a job, but we start and we push the pin in the duvet. So I just make it nicely in a line. So I put in all the 20 fringes I've done. I'll move to the other side. This helps stretching the yarn a little bit so it stays in this position. Some people wetting the actual project in warm water, warm salty water, which I do not want to do. This works good for me. But you can research and choose your own method. I do this with our crochet jewellery, obviously not on the bed. If you do have a bigger part or a longer cardboard and a big table, you can do it there. I don't, so I use what I got. Okay, so now let's come this end, and you can see now I'm going to stretch it. So I will do this edge, and then we'll do the sides. Then we can see a few of these are a little bit up. We can just cut them and make them even more even. Don't need to go. If you leave this for a few hours, in my case it will be probably before I go to bed, just to allow the project to stretch. Okay, so two edges are done, and what I'll do now, I'll start putting this in a straight line. So you do it so it gets nice shape, and we do it all the way long. I've just trimmed the edges a little bit to make them even, and this is what the blotting should look like. Roughly make sure it is the shape you want. And just leave it for a few hours, and then I may come and show you how I'm taking the pins out, just in case you don't know. See you later. So it's the time to remove all the pins, and let's see the result. It's been from very early in the morning, and now it's bedtime, so I have to remove them if I want to sleep. So can you see how nicely and stretched it is? So it will stay like that. So here is our beautiful scarf. I'll show you how it stays, but not tonight. Amazing. Well done for creating such a beautiful scarf. I know that yours will be as nice as mine. There it is, gorgeous.